This conference will now be recorded.
Am I audible? Guys, am I audible?
Yes, Nikhila.
Yes, Nikhila.
Okay, okay, perfect. Okay, let's begin the session with a quick questionnaire on the so far completed topics. Hope everybody got a chance to go through the recording on operators and access groups. So let's start with a quick questionnaire. Uh, Manisha, can you tell me who is an operator in PEGA? Manisha,
Hi,
is this your first session by any chance?
no, no, no. Third
Okay,
session.
okay, yeah, okay then, Manisha, go ahead, please.
Yeah, operator is nothing but a user.
Okay. So can you give me any real-time example considering Google Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm, just tell me how those operators are. Who are the operators of those apps?
Yeah. For example, I'm the operator of the Google Pay, and the others which are using the app are the
Hmm.
users are nothing but the
Right,
operators
right,
in a
perfect.
technical
So that
term.
is what an operator, right? So that's what an operator, guys. Operator means nothing but end user. Any person who uses an application, we call them as operators. Like just like Manisha told, she's an operator of Google Pay, she's an operator of Paytm or Phone Pay or Amazon or Myntra or Swiggy. So nothing but she's an operator, means she's a user. So operators means users. So in a real time project, operator can be a developer, he may be a QA, he may be a manager, he may be a scrum master, he may be a user, he may be a approver, reviewer, can be anyone. End of the day, are you using that application? If you're using it, you're an operator. Okay. Now, Ritu, can you tell me in which table we store the operator IDs?
So it will be stored under PR underscore operators.
Perfect. Okay. Raghaveni, can you tell me how do I create an operator ID from the Pega Dev Studio? What is the navigation to create a new operator ID?
Yes, Nikhila. We need to go to organization,
Okay.
the menu. From there, we can create operators will be there. So there
Right.
we will create an operator.
So from organization, operator ID, you can click on the
Mm.
create button here and you can create operators.
Yes.
Okay. Can anyone tell me what are the mandatory fields in creating an operator ID? Anyone from the session?
Access group,
What is the mandatory?
and the
Hmm.
mandatory is company division unit, that one is mandatory, and access groups
Who is that?
password.
Nagaraju.
uh,
Okay.
yes ma'am, Nagaraj here. Sorry to
Yeah.
say that.
No, no, no,
The
that's go ahead.
mandatory, yeah, company
Hmm.
organization, that sorry, company division unit, this one is
Very
mandatory.
good. Right.
and
Exactly right.
access group also mandatory. After that,
Hmm.
on that end, we will give the controls on developer, admin, or app, which one,
Hmm.
for that particular access, who what and all need to do, that one also we need to select in access group, like
Exactly right.
developer,
Yeah,
admin.
I'm creating a
Yeah.
new operator ID. Try to click on the save button without filling the data. You can see access group is mandatory. So although there is no asterisk here. So generally for mandatory fields you'll have a star like this, right? There's no asterisk here, but still access group is mandatory. Then organization division unit is mandatory. Means for which company you're working, which division, which unit, that is mandatory. Just give me a second, guys. Just give me a second. I'll be back. I'm back. So you can see this access group, organization, division, unit, and if you scroll down, there's one more thing which is mandatory, that is password. Okay, this is very important interview question. So please remember this because you don't see an asterisk here, right? But still they are mandatory. You don't see an asterisk here, but it is mandatory. No asterisk to give the password, but it is mandatory. So you can never ever create an operator ID without filling this information.
Sorry,
Okay.
Nikhila, are you sharing screen? I'm not sure.
Oh, is it? Okay. I
No,
thought I
you
was
are not
sharing.
Oh,
sharing.
you're not getting
Okay.
screening.
Yeah,
That's what.
let me do it. I was under the assumption I was sharing.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
let me do it.
Yeah, got it, Nikhil. Thank you.
Okay. So I was trying to create an operator ID without filling any data. So you can see I don't have an asterisk here. This is mandatory. No asterisk here. This is mandatory. No asterisk here. This is mandatory. So access group, organization division unit, and password is mandatory for creating an operator ID. So please remember this. It's very important. Okay. Now let's move on to the access group thing. Dilip, can you tell me where do I find access groups? Where is the navigation to see all the access groups which are there in my application? Dilip, are you there? Dilip Chakravarti.
Yeah, ma'am, I am there.
Okay, if you don't recollect, that's
Hello.
fine. Uh, yeah, do you remember the answer, Dilip? Where do you find all the access groups in Pega?
Uh, Sorry, I didn't remember.
You're not recollecting? Okay. So, guys, I request everybody to go through previous recordings before the next session because every session you get questions or from day one topic. Even if you are on day 10, I'm going to ask you questions from day 1 to day 9. So, please make sure you go, and that's going to benefit you. If you're trying to attend for the interviews, you need not sit again and brush up from the scratch. So, if this way you keep answering the questions, by the time you end the training, you are interview ready. No need to spend some extra time to brush up the previous concepts. Okay, so please make sure you brush up on the previous concepts this weekend and be ready by next Friday. Okay, anyone can answer? Can you answer this, guys? Where do I find my access groups in
Or,
Pega?
or
Nikhila,
Records
organization.
Nikhila Shiva here.
Yes, Shiva, please.
Yeah, under Records Explorer,
Mhm.
uh,
under
under
security.
security tab,
Exactly.
we can find that.
Those who answered organization, it's not under organization, guys. Organization has only operator IDs. Security tab will have access groups. Okay. Please, it is security, not organization. Organization contains only this one. Okay. So, Shiva, can you tell me what exactly is the use of access group?
Yeah, the access group will grant the access to which application we need to work. We are going to
Okay. So, for one
and
application, how many access groups can I expect? Is it like one or more?
for one operator ID,
No, no, I'm
we
asking for one application, for one project. How many access groups can I expect? Is it only one access group or multiple access groups? For one project, I'm saying, not operator.
okay for one access group we have only one application.
No, my question is for one project, for one application. Let's say my application is Gmail. For Gmail, how many access
Multiple,
groups generate? Multiple, right?
multiple.
Why
Yes, yes.
multiple? Let me ask this. Shravani, can you tell me why do you have multiple access groups for an application? What is the necessity to have multiple access groups for an application? Shravani? Okay. Vishal? Yeah, please.
Because we have multiple teams where we can work like that way. We have different
Right.
I mean,
Multiple
yeah,
teams or multiple roles, you can say, because some
yeah,
people are developers, some are managers, some are approvers, some are reviewers. Like this, you have different roles depending upon the industry. So if you're working for healthcare, you'll have pharmacist, nurse, doctor, provider, member, like this we say. Like this, in every project we'll have different roles. So we need different access groups because somebody is an admin, somebody is a developer, somebody is a tester. So everybody needs a different level of access. So you can't use the same access group for everyone. Because if I'm a developer and you give me admin portal, what should I do there? I can't create any rules, right? And you are an admin, I gave you developer portal, what are you supposed to do there? So like this, for every role in a project we create different access groups. And please remember, access group is shared between multiple users. Suppose I have 10 admins in my project. Same access group, I'm going to give all the 10 admins. So if you make any changes here, it will affect all the people who are using this access group, not just only you. So be very careful if you're touching access group. And also remember, in real time, only admins will have privilege to create operators, access groups, and all these things. Normal developers can't create, delete, and do these things. Okay. Now, Hussein, would you like to answer what is the importance of having multiple portals here? Why do you have multiple portals under an access group? Tofik, the question is to you. Tofik Hussein. Okay. Gautami, would you like to answer this? What is the use of having multiple access groups in an application, in an access group? Sorry, multiple portals in an access group? Okay. Anusha, please go ahead.
Hi, Nikhila. According to the roles,
Hello.
they use multiple applications. Like admins
Portals.
have the different portal, and developer will have the different portal, and end
Hmm.
user will have the different portal.
Now, why am I
Like that,
having multiple portals here? Why should I give
because
multiple portals to a
the
user?
role is
Hmm.
the role is different.
No, if the
The
role
role
is
is
different, see, if I'm a developer, I can just have developer, right? Why should I have all these things? These all are not necessary for me, right? I'm a developer, so just developer is enough.
no developer will create all the home page. Um,
Creation you can do from here. Why do you need another portal to create? Okay, anybody who can answer this? Why does a developer need multiple portals? Yeah, I see somebody raised hand. Satish, you want to answer?
Yeah, Nikhila. Sometimes developer may need even admin access also in order to check the background process. Even sometimes they may need user portal to what will be the user experience and all those. So that's the reason they may require multiple portals.
Okay, exactly right. See, although you are a developer, you do testing in different portals, right? I have configured a new report in the manager portal. How do I test it? So I have to log into the manager portal and test is it working or not. I have configured a new button in the user portal. How do I test it? I have to log into the user portal and test it. See, every time if I want to test, I should not log out, log in with manager and then test, right? Or I can't ping my manager, sir, I have done something. Can you please check it? No, you're not going to do that, right? So as you keep coding, you have to test from different portals. How is it working for a manager? How is it working for a user? How is it working for an admin? I may need to test it from different places. So I don't always log out and log in. So instead, what you can do is add as many portals as you want, launch the portals and test it. So that is the reason we do that, because end of the day users are going to use it. So I have to check how this is looking in a user portal, how this is looking in a manager portal, how it is working. So all that testing I can do only in those portals, right? So that is the reason you need multiple portals. Although you are a developer, you have to test in different portals. Okay.
So, Nikhila, based upon the application or project requirement, the admin will provide different kind of portal access for us, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah. Thank you.
So basically, whenever you join, they will identify your role. If you're an administrator, whatever portals are already configured for the existing admins in that company, all will come to you. If you're a developer, in the developer access group, whatever portals are configured so far in the access group will all be coming to you because it's a common access group, right? It's not something special configured for you. So access group dev is common for every developer. You're just a new member in the team. That's it. So whatever is existing, automatically everything will come to you. Okay. Now moving
Nikhila, can
down,
you
we have
give,
some. Sure.
sorry,
Yes.
Nikhila, can you please give some small example for that?
Which one?
Multiple access groups in application. Just now you explained, right?
As I was telling you, let's see, in every project we'll have different access groups. Because if you take Gmail, okay, Gmail will have developers, managers, users, approvers, reviewers like this. So your access group name will be Gmail colon administrators, Gmail colon users, Gmail colon developers. So you can see here, every application we have multiple access groups. You can see e-recharge managers, e-recharge users, e-recharge authors. See my town administrators, my town authors, Go IBIBO authors, Go IBIBO users. So like this, every project will have different access groups depending upon how many roles are there in that project.
Got it,
And inside
Nikhila. Thank
this group, you will maintain what
Ma'am,
portal they have to access. Yeah.
here each and every name we found authors and administrator means each and every access group, right?
In real time, it differs based on your project and your,
Okay.
whatever roles they have in the company.
No, no.
Admin,
Actually, the
uh,
exact
mm,
doubt is here we are taking only authors. Means access group in access group we are taking only authors.
mm.
But by default it will creating administrator or while we are creating access group that time only creating both authors and administrator.
Okay, now you will learn that we will do hands-on, but by default nowadays it is creating only authors. It's not creating anything else. Okay, in earlier versions of
Okay.
Pega, they used to create different access groups. Now that is not the case nowadays. Only authors are getting created.
So I
We'll
want to
do
ask.
hands-on from next Friday. You will see that what all are getting created.
Okay. And madam, I have another small one. In access group, we have access only particular portals only, right? We don't have access for entire access group. How many portals they will assign to us? That many portals only we have access
Obviously.
in the
See,
access
if
group,
I
right?
if I remove admin studio from here, I will not get admin studio here. I have to
Okay,
remove, save it, log out and log in, and this will no longer appear. So whatever portals are mentioned here, only those you can access.
okay,
Studios from here and portals from here you will access.
okay.
Okay. Now, Abhirami, can you tell me what all studios we have in Pega? This is a very important interview question, guys. They will ask you what are the studios you have or what are the workspaces you have. So, Abhirami, can you answer
Yeah.
this?
So
Yes,
Dev
please.
Studio, Admin
Mm.
Studio, Production Studio, and then App Studio. Oh no 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 no.
Okay. App Studio
Uh,
only, correct. So, tell
okay
me the
okay.
difference between each of them and who uses them.
Yeah, Dev Studio developers can develop on the requirements, and
Mhm.
Production Studio we can use that for um,
Data scientists use it.
yeah, scientist, and admin studios for background monitoring the background job. So that's running for the
Mm.
application. And
Mm.
one more is app studio. I'm not actually sure.
App Studio is for managers and business analysts. So,
Uh,
very few things that you can do in Admin Studio can be done in the App Studio. So if you start hands-on, you will understand here and what can be done in the App Studio. Now it's like theoretically you're just recollecting the things. Once you start hands-on, you will understand, what is case type, what are operators, what are access groups, how can you cater an App Studio. You will recollect all these things, okay? But
yeah,
remember, guys, this workspaces or studios is very important from interview point of view on the so far completed topics and operators and access groups. This is one of the most important interview questions, like studios they ask you. Okay, remember this. Now moving ahead, Yeah, see, on operators and access groups, the important questions you can expect is first thing is about the studios. Okay, on studios, they may ask you. Second thing is they will ask you how many access groups I can give to an operator ID. As you saw, for one operator ID, you can give multiple access groups. Similar, the next question you can expect is can I give multiple applications inside an access group? No, not possible. Only one application you can give. Now, can I give multiple portals? Obviously, yes. You can give as many portals as you want. And whichever is selected, that is the default portal you get when you log in. And you can switch the portals from here. And you can switch the studios from here. Okay. Now moving to the next one, I have also told you one more important question on operators. Can we create an operator ID from the database? No, because we have a blob column. So you have to create from the application Dev Studio only, either through code or manually you have to create operators. Inserting an operator ID directly in the operators table will not create an operator ID because we have blob column and you can't insert data in that. Okay, hope you remember that is also one more important interview question. Another important interview question I have taught you in the last session is how to create bulk operators. The answer was you have to take a file, maybe a CSV file or an Excel file or a text file, create a, or list down all the operator details in that and consume the file using a code. That code we are going to learn towards the end of the training. So file listener concept you will be learning. So these are some of the interview questions you can expect on operators, access groups, and studios. Okay. Any questions before I start the next topic? Any questions on so far completed topics, guys? Okay.
Yeah,
So for
Nikhila,
those of
this
you,
is Satish.
yes, Satish. Yes, Satish.
I see there is a room set in the Access Group Advanced tab.
Hey,
It
Satish,
was
I
asking
didn't
some
teach.
rules.
Hello, one second. Did I teach you rule
Yeah,
sets? Why are you asking? I'm yet to cover that. Okay. Looks like you know
okay,
Pega a
okay.
little, more than other people. So please, I know some of you are already working or know Pega. We'll go off track if I start rule sets now because I'm yet to cover roles, privileges, and all that, which is still on the access group screen, right? So after this, we will switch to application and rule sets. Okay.
Done, done.
So we
Actually, it
will
was
we'll
there
learn
in
roles, privileges, and role to object, and then we'll go there. Then you can ask me this question.
perfect, perfect.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Let's move ahead now.
Nikhila?
Okay. Yes, please.
Yeah, hi Nikhila. Nikhila, there was a
Hello.
question that you had asked in last previous session, and you said that you will discuss it in
Can you
today's
can you
class.
recap me the question once?
If we want to update an operator ID, but we don't have admin access and we don't have
Ah, exactly right. Guys, did you find answer to that? I want to update an operator ID, but I don't have admin access. So obviously I can't update it. And I don't have database access. So obviously I can't. Satish, you have the answer. Wonderful. Please tell me.
We can write an activity and we can update it either, or we can
Exactly right.
update in the.
Right, exactly right, guys. So you can write a piece of code. For those of you who don't know activity, you can write a piece of code. See, you're a developer. You know coding, right? You can write code. So again, when I say code, please understand that in Pega we don't write any code. By code, I mean I'm designing some functionality. Okay. So, like Satish said, you can write a piece of code to create a new operator ID. That's it. Or to update an existing operator ID. You can write a piece of code and you can run that code. So that way you can update or create new operators even if you are not an admin and you don't have access to create new operators. And even if you don't have access to the database, still you can do it using code. So you can write some piece of code to create and update and delete operators and you can run that code. That's going to serve your purpose. So this was one of the important interview questions we came across. No, an operator ID
Nikhila,
stop.
I have a doubt here.
Yes, please.
So if you write a code, there also, I mean, credentials should be passed on, right? In the code also will pass up
Ah,
credentials.
no, when you
Otherwise,
run the
you.
code, no,
Hmm.
when you run the code, you don't pass any credentials, okay? It will execute, right? So it will automatically update it. As per your request a session, it will go and update it. Or
See,
sometimes you
if
can
you
even
want to
schedule it.
access,
Hmm.
yeah, if you want to access any application or whatever, So you need
See, for
credentials.
running
Huh.
the code, you don't need any credentials. See, I already logged in into the Dev Studio. I created
Okay.
some rule. Okay, I just have a run button. I can run it. It will automatically take my credentials, but they don't need a username and password. They only need when running the code. They only need which application, which rule sets. Okay, only that they will consider. They don't need a username and password for running the code because I already logged in, right? I'm already an authorized person. So now I can
Mm.
execute the code. Now code will not check, whether you have access to update the operator ID or not. They will not check until and unless you explicitly write something. Pega will not automatically check that. Okay. Only if
Okay.
you explicitly write something in the code that if person is not an administrator, don't allow him to run the code. If you write something like that, then it may happen. Otherwise, generally, it will not check whether you are authorized to update or not. It will not check. Code will automatically execute and update the operators and all.
Madam, will you please show that
So
in
that
practice?
anybody can run a code and it can be done, right? Anybody
Can
can
be done.
run
So
the code and can update the
okay. That is the
operators.
reason we don't give edit access or creation access to developers in
Mm.
UAT and production because creating operators in dev and QA is okay. Dev means where developers do the coding. QA means where testers will do testing. So
Huh.
here and there, whatever you want, you can play. But UAT and production, generally, at least production, we are not supposed to create new operators, update and delete. So in production, even a developer will not have access to create the code. Why don't you have access to create the code or update the code? Because you can do anything with the code, right? So that is the reason in dev,
Yes, that's what
no
I'm asking.
developer.
How you
Hmm.
will you, I mean, how you can stop them? Where we need to do all these things? I
See,
mean, you don't give edit access, right?
yes, we don't give them not edit access. Basically, let me open any rule in Pega. Just
Nikhila,
some
yeah,
rule I'm
actually,
opening. Hmm. I'm just opening some rule. Okay. So you get some buttons like this, right? The run button or something. So basically, you can see it is logged. So similarly, like this in production, they will be logged. That is one thing. You can't update the code, existing code. And when you try to create something like this, okay, when you come to this particular screen and you try to create a new rule in production, okay, here itself they will throw you an error. Or when you at least create on the click create button, automatically error will come that you don't have the rights to create new rules. Okay, so that is one thing. Or sometimes in production you may not even have the dev studio, you may even not have dev studio access. Okay, so either upon clicking create button you will get the error, or you may not even have dev
yeah.
studio
In
access.
between disconnecting the screen, will you please come back?
No, see, that is not from my side, maybe some issue on your side because others did not complain that.
Okay.
Okay, Karthik, can you please tell me what is your question?
Yeah. Yes, Nikhila. So I have a. I mean, I'm not sure if I understand this operator thing correctly because operators will be like users of this particular PEGA application. So that is why we have this
Mhm.
different portals and
Hmm.
uh, uh, Dev Studio and all those things.
Hmm.
How about the application that we actually build? And there will be, say, I built an application for a HDFC bank, and then there are like a new customer going to register. So what is the difference between this end user and user of this PEGA and this operator? What is the
They
relation
both are
here?
one and the same, right? They both are one and the same. See, let's say HDFC Bank website is built on Pega. I'm also an operator, you are also an operator. Maybe I'm a developer, but you are just a end user. But still, and both of us are operators because we have access to HDFC Bank website. So operator,
Mhm.
user, one and the same. Maybe I'm an admin, you are a developer, but still we are using HDFC Bank. So you are a operator. So operator, user, nothing but any person who uses that application are all operators and users.
Oh, okay. To say like end user, like who's a customer, may not have access to the studios, right? None of the
Exactly.
studios. Uh,
None of the studio. We only give him the access to portals. Some portal we create, user portal, manager portal we create, and we give them access to that.
okay, okay. Yeah, understand. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, anybody has any questions before we proceed? So through code, you can create any operator ID, guys. Although you don't have access to a database or creating an operator ID, still you can write a piece of code. You can pass all the data required for creating an operator ID. Like mandatory fields, right? Organization, division, unit, password, access group are mandatory. So in the code, you keep all that data and you can run the code and you can automatically create operator IDs. I can't show you that because now you don't know what is an activity. You don't know what are the functions and methods we have. So without knowing all that, how can I create and show you all that? So it's not possible. But as we keep moving, we can try that. Any other questions before we move forward? Okay. Let's see, how more restrictions you can add to an application. So far, using operators, I'm restricting your access to your application. So if you're a Gmail operator, you can access only Gmail. If you're a YouTube operator, you can access only YouTube. So till application level, I'm controlling your access. Now within the application, how can I control the access for different users? Let's see, how can we do that? Where is security? Okay. Now inside the access group, if you come below, there is something called as roles. Okay, you see there is something called as roles. Now again, what is the use of this role? Okay, so let's say for example, whenever you launch a portal, okay, maybe this button is there. Okay, this create button is there, which is allowing you to create some transactions. Now let's assume that some button or some image or some video or some report should be accessible only to certain set of users. Okay. Now you may be thinking, Nicola, using access group, we can control that, right? No, we can do that also, or we can also do using access roles. Okay. So we also create something called as access roles in Pega. So access role means just to control, the application, the elements on the screen. If you want to control, we generally use access roles. Means in user portal, you will have create button because you want to create some transaction. In manager portal also you will have create button because managers also want to make some transactions. In X portal also you'll have create button. So like this create button may be present in n number of portals. Okay. Now you want to restrict this create button only to certain set of users. Now how do you restrict it? Already this is coming for users, managers, and some other certain people it is coming. Now how do you want to restrict it? So what I will do is we will create something called as roles in Pega. Role is exactly like an access group only. See, access groups or roles, they have the same naming convention. What is your project name versus the role? Suppose your project name is Paytm. Paytm colon users. Paytm colon admin. Paytm colon developers. So that is how we give access groups names in real time. Similarly, roles also, almost the same. If you see, Paytm colon sysadmin 4, Paytm colon security manager. Like this, they will just have application name colon role. They're almost one and the same. Now, why do you create roles? What is inside the role? There is nothing inside the role. Role is just a read-only thing. This is missing. It's going to a new screen. Let me take anything existing. Role is basically read only. Do you see? Can I fill anything here? There's nothing I can fill here. Okay, there's nothing to fill in this. It's just read only. Then how are you restricting it? See, at least Access Group was having something inside it. Access Group had portals, Access Group had application. So using these two, we are restricting the user's access to a specific application, to a specific portal. We are restricting. What is this? Role doesn't have anything inside it. Then how does it make sense using a role? So role doesn't have anything inside it. That is true. Role is just like a read-only variable. For those who are technical, guys, role is just like a read-only variable or role is just like a flag variable. Now, for those who are from non-technical background, guys, role is like a switch for us. Okay, just a switch to turn on and off some functionality, like a switch in your house to on the light, to off the light, to on the fan, off the fan. Okay. Similarly, roles in a project is like a switch for us to on the functionality, to disable the functionality, on and off. Like that, we use it. Now, where are you using it? You will use it in the code. Okay. So let me pull some Pega's OOTB roles and see where they are being used. Let's say, for example, Pega rules call it sysadmin 4. Okay. This is a role, Pega's built-in role. Okay. Sometimes we use it in the code, sometimes we use it in role to object. I will teach you that later. Let's see if it is being used in anywhere in the code so that I can show you. Access of role to object. Oh, it's only there in role to object, nowhere else. Okay. Let me see if I can pull anything else. View references means where this is being used. It's going to tell me where it is being used. Oh, it's all in our role to object only they're using it. If I don't find another one, anyways, I'll just show you how to do it. One second. Just want to show you how do you use this role in the application. Okay. Just checking if anyone is using it. I'm just checking, guys. Prepare access role. No, sorry. Okay. So anyway, so how do you use this in the application? I'm just telling you. We take any piece of code in Pega. Okay. Let's say, I want to hide this. Okay. So I will go to this particular piece of code in Pega and I will write down a condition like this, operator has a role, this, then only make this button visible for him. Otherwise, it's not visible. So we write down a condition like that, guys. Okay. So here also you can see they are checking that, they should have this role. Now, like this, I write down some piece of code in Pega. So to check that only if the operator has this particular role, this should be enabled or this should be visible or this should be, whatever is your criteria, we write down that piece of code. So only operators who has that particular role can access this. Otherwise, they can't access this. So using roles, we write down the piece of code like that and we hide or we enable or we disable or we restrict. We do all such kind of things. Okay, so that's the use of a role. It's basically like a switch. So roles means on the screen, okay, if you have any functionality and you want to restrict it to certain set of users, we use roles. Like this particular button, maybe it should be disabled for a set of users. So I will open the code and I will write down a condition here. It should be visible only to people who have this role. Otherwise, it should not be visible. See, now I can't do that and show you because we didn't build a project yet. So once we build a project in the next Friday's session, I will teach you how to create operators, how to create access groups, how to use roles, how to use privileges and role to object. I'm going to show you. For now, just understand theoretically. Next Friday, when we start the practical, I'll show you all these things. In a practical way, we can look at them. So we can restrict anything on the screen, maybe to enable or disable. So to make it editable or to make it read only, we use roles. Roles are basically like a switch. Means only if you are an admin, I can see this. Only if you're a developer, I can edit this. Only if you're a manager, you can run this. So like this, if you want to restrict, you can write down a piece of code saying that operator should have this and this role, else he can't do that functionality. So like that, we use roles in Pega. Any questions on this one, guys? Okay. So the next version is, next one we
Hi,
have
Nikhila.
is, hello, yes, please.
Hi, Vishal this side. So I have a question like, can you give a real-time example in the project? Let's say we have doing one SDC application where we can use what is the access group, what is the role, and what is the operator in difference of this.
Operator ID is nothing but a
Ah,
person
okay,
no,
okay. Please go ahead.
okay. So operator ID is nothing but a person who can access the application, right? So if you're using
Yes.
Book My Show to book a ticket, you are a user, so you have an operator ID. You log in using a username and password, right? That is nothing but operator ID. Username and password is nothing but a part of the operator ID. So when you log in, you will see your profile, your first name, last name, email ID, contact number. What is that all? It's a part of your operator ID. So that is operator ID. What is access group? You can only book a ticket using Book My Show. Means you have user access group. You can't edit the code. If you can edit the code, you have developer access group. You can't look at the background jobs, nodes, requesters, and all these things. If you can look at them, you have admin access group. So you only have user access group. Based on that, you are getting only user portal of Book My Show. And how about the roles? See, even a admin of Book My Show can book a ticket. Even a developer of Book My Show can book a ticket, and you can also book a ticket. Okay. Maybe when they book a ticket, they will have some extra field on the screen called as employee code. Okay. And when they give employee code, maybe they will get free tickets. Okay. Now, when you book a ticket, you will not get anything as employee code. Now, why is it employee code not visible to you? Maybe they are restricting it using a role. So, only users who have admin role, developer role, they are making that employee code visible on the screen. For other people, employee code is not visible. So like this, role is basically used like a switch to on and off or to hide or show to make it read only or editable. For something on the screens, we generally use roles. Now,
Yeah,
any
got it,
questions you
Nikhila.
have?
Thank you so much.
Super.
Yeah, hi Nikhila, Abhinami here. So when you said the roles are just read only, when you clicked on any of these below available roles, but I can see the add button there. I'm not sure why it is there when it is read only.
No, role here is not when you use a role. Array, see, inside the role there is nothing. It is read only. Sorry, this is a new one. Take any existing one. Inside the role, there is nothing, guys. You can add as many roles as possible, right? Existing
Not
roles you
here.
cannot add.
Inside
Mhm.
the rule only I can see one
Oh,
add
okay,
button.
that one that we are going to discuss now. Okay,
Okay, okay.
so generally roles are empty like
Yeah,
this. Now,
this.
what is this one? This is access of role to object, which we are going to discuss now. Don't get confused. Let me complete it, then you will understand. This is access role to
Okay.
object. Okay, I'm going to discuss just like see inside the access group you have application, you have portals, you have roles, right? Similarly, inside roles, we will have something called as role to object. Role to object is separately a different concept, right? So access group is different, application is different, portals are different, roles are different, but all of them are just kept on the same screen. Similarly, role and role to object is different, but they both are lying in the same screen. Role is calling role to object. See, access group is calling which application you can access. Access group is calling all your portals. Access group is calling all your roles. Similarly, every role will call role to object. Now, what is role to object? We'll discuss about it. So, anybody has any questions on roles so far?
Uh, yeah, Nikhila, Karthik here.
Yes, Karthik.
So one operator can be assigned with only one role, right?
No, no, no. One operator can have multiple access groups, right? And in one
Yeah.
access group, look at this, how many roles I have already given.
Yeah, but how do we identify that? Okay, maybe if I log in and I am a user, I
No,
am an end user.
mhm. See, end
End user
users,
is a
they
role.
can't, right? But why will end users have the opportunity to add roles and delete roles? You are a user of Book My Show. Can you change your access in Book My Show? Not possible, right? Developers will do all these things.
Yeah, yeah. Is it like mandatory to have a role for? I mean, we are restricting certain buttons or something based on the roles, right? So if it is an end user, then we will not show this button. Maybe like employee ID or
Yeah.
something like that. We don't show, right? So. How do we control this? So we should be every operator should be having a role, right?
Yes, in every access group we will mention the roles, and when you design the screens, you will write down that piece of code. If operator has this role, only then show him this, else don't show him this. So like this, you're going to write some piece of code.
Okay.
Okay. But again, same thing you can do with access group also, right? See, instead of, let's say, for example, this button is there. I want to restrict this button only for developers. So I can write a piece of code here. This button should be visible only if operator has a role, this. Or I can also write the same thing using, if this button should be visible only if the operator is a developer. Either of the ways I can write the code, right? It is not necessary for me to use roles only. I can even do it using access group.
Okay,
Am I
so
right?
if there are many
But the
things, yeah, I understand.
but the benefit is, suppose this button should be visible for developers, managers, users, reviewers, approvers. So my condition should be, this button should be visible for 5 different access groups. So instead of writing 5 different access groups, I can make things easy. How can I make it easy? In all the 5 access groups, let's say I have a role called as e-recharge colon sysadmin 4. So I will write down a condition here. This button should be visible for any operator who has e-recharge colon sysadmin 4. Now it's easy, right? Instead of writing 5 different operators, I just wrote one single role. There's also another benefit. Let's say tomorrow I added a new access group called as, e-recharge colon like pharmacist, or e-recharge colon nurse. Now this button should be visible for pharmacist and nurse also. So if I used access group to make this visible, I have to open the code and I have to add my new access groups here. Instead, if I used a role, okay, whenever I create a new access group called as e-recharge called nurses and pharmacists, I can add this role in their access group. Then automatically existing code will work for them. No need to write new piece of code, right? So that is the
Okay.
benefit of using roles over access groups. No
So
need to
if there are
modify the
many
code n
roles,
number of times. How many roles you
okay.
will write
So
down then if you have to
mm,
use it?
mm, if there are a lot of changes based on a role, I mean, how do we decide like when we have to go for role-based control or access group-based control? So is it like so
I
many
just
roles?
gave you the
I mean, so many restrictions.
No, I just gave you the example, right? If some functionality is common for multiple access groups, why do you want to maintain multiple access groups? Maintain one single role. Role is common for all the access groups, and you can restrict it using that. See, let me write it down like this. Let me take a notepad. Let's say, for example, there is a report. Okay, report which tells about profit and loss of that company. Okay, so this report should be visible for admins. Okay, so people with admin access group. Okay, report should be visible for people with dev access group. This report should be visible for people with manager access group. Then this should be visible for CEO. Just no CEOs is going to use. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's say this is visible for my CFO. Just writing, okay? So all these people should have access to that report. Now what should I do here? I should go and write down a condition here. Report visible only if operator has access group. Okay, and you have to write down all these 4 access groups or 5 access groups. Okay, only for these people this report is visible. Like this, I need to write down a condition. Now let's say tomorrow a new access group was introduced. A new access group was introduced. Let's say not one new, let's say like 5 new access groups were introduced in your project. Okay, and all these 5 new access groups should have access to this report. Now what should I do? Open this piece of code and add 5 new access groups here, right? Add 5 new access groups. Otherwise, these 5 new access groups set of people can't use this report. They can't look at the report. So I have to open the code and change this. This is a hectic way. So whenever you make a change, you have to make sure that in a longer run it is feasible, and multiple times you should not make changes. So how can I avoid this change? To avoid this change, what you can do is in all these access groups, maintain a common, okay, in all these access groups, maintain a common role, okay, and use that role in your report visibility condition. Okay, so what I will do is in the report visibility condition, instead of writing 5 access groups like this, I will just maintain one single role. So this report should be visible if operator has role, whatever is the role, XXXX, whatever is the role, we will mention that. So tomorrow, even if they introduce 10 new access groups, I need not touch this code, because in these new access groups also I will add the role. Automatically the existing code will work, right? No need to add the access groups here. So that is the benefit. As many access groups come and go, still you need not touch the code, because this is going to be available for them.
Okay, understand. Thanks, Nikhila.
Oh, wonderful. Anybody has any questions on the difference between operators, access groups, roles, and their importance? Okay, Abhirami, roles are not present in the operator ID, right? So you're not adding it to the operator, you're adding it to the access group. And yes, it is mandatory. If you don't give a role, even the portals will not be visible. Okay, so there are few very important roles. Okay, and whenever you create an operator ID, Pega will by default add those roles to your operator. You need not explicitly add them. Just make sure you don't delete them. Okay, because based on some auto-generated roles, we have some functionality. I'll teach you
Yeah.
that when I teach you old role to object, you will understand how important they are. Yes. Somebody. Vishal,
Nikhila,
you have some question? Yes. Raghaveni, 1 second. Vishal, you want to go ahead? He has raised a hand. Yes, Vishal. You're done?
No, Nikhila, it is previously.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Nagraju,
Nikhila,
any questions
Nagaraj.
right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
So roles will created automatically or developer need to create?
Developer need to create. So whenever you create a new project in Pega, by default operator IDs, default access groups, default roles will be created. After
Yeah.
that, it depends on your business requirement, because Pega
Okay.
doesn't know that you need a pharmacist or a nurse or a member. Pega doesn't know what roles you need, right? So based on your requirement, you start creating it.
So some default roles automatically it will come. So what and
It
all we
will
need
come.
to create that is on a
Depends
developer
on your
end. Means
requirement. Right,
okay,
exactly.
depend
So
upon
you
the
get
requirement.
requirement from the client, and based on that, you start creating.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. Yes, Raghavini, you have some question. Please go ahead.
yeah. Equally, just as you said, we created some role like users. Application
Right.
colon users will be there.
Mhm.
So you are the user and I am also the user. So, but in one screen, some set of people has need to be access that create button, and some set of people shouldn't have the access to the create button.
Okay.
Then we need to create the two types of roles, or the same role. I
No,
mean,
no,
is there
same
any
role.
clearance?
Same role. It's
Same
just a
role?
visible same role.
Hmm.
Oh, once again, why? See, role will be present only to one person, right? I mean, like, see, if Raghaveni needs access, we are going
Hmm.
to give this role only to Raghaveni, and this person will not have that role. So this person can't access it. See, if you and I have same access group, obviously same roles will come. So same functionality will come. So if it should not be visible to me, then you and I should have different access groups and different roles. Only then it will work.
Okay.
It's not possible, right? See, if you look at this, see, you can see under this, I can have n number of operators. Oh, nobody is using it right now. So whoever is having this access group, everybody will get same roles. So everybody will see the same things on the screen. So if you and I need different things, then you and I should have different access groups and different roles. Otherwise, same things will come.
Okay. Thank you, Nikhil.
Nikhila, one more question.
Sure.
So even if we are a same kind of user and have the same access group, so if I have a good credit score, and only for those people having the good credit score, only the offers or some options too should be visible. And other
See,
having not
it,
in
okay,
that.
in your requirement, you're doing it based on
Mhm,
the credit score. So credit score
mhm.
is acting like a flag variable. Current topic is
Okay.
about roles. Here, role is acting like a flag variable. So when
No, no,
you
I
design
just
a
gave a
project,
credit card as example. It's not any credit card
no,
I'm
no,
using in my project, but I'm asking like say if even if it is same kind of user, if any
of course,
functionality we
right.
need to.
See, that's what I'm telling you. There, the criteria is different, right? There, you are doing based on credit score. So, if you
Okay.
open the piece of code, you will write down
Mhm.
if credit score is greater than 850, give him this discount, else like this. But currently, we are discussing about
Okay.
roles. So, in my code, I will write if operator has a role this, allow him to sue this, else like this. So, you will modify your condition. Is it based on credit score or is it based on roles? You have to decide.
Nothing we can do it on the access group or roles, right? Only on the rule we need to write extra conditions.
You have to write extra conditions, right? Is it based on yeah.
Okay.
If it is based on credit score, there's nothing to do with your roles or access groups. It's credit score, right? So credit score you will deal with. Why roles and access groups will come? They will not come into the picture.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
See, if you go to your Amazon wallet, okay, you will have some money. I will have some money. Somebody else will have some money. So it's purely based on Amazon wallet money. Their roles and access groups are not coming into the picture, right? Based on how much money you have, that much discount you will get when you purchase a product. So their roles and same way in your example, credit score is the main thing there. Roles and access groups does not play any role in your example.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now let's move ahead, guys. The next one is role to object. Okay. We'll do one thing. We have already crossed 1 hour. Let's take a break. Okay. Digest what I have taught you so far. Then after the break, we'll start with role to objects and privileges. They are also all about security. And whatever topics you are covering today is very important from interview point of view. They ask you, tell me about security in Pega. So then you have to talk about operators first, then access group, then roles, then privileges, role to objects. Okay, all these things you need to talk about. Okay, so post break we'll talk about the remaining things. Let's connect back again at 8:15, guys. 10 minutes break. Okay, recap and come back. We'll talk about it.
This conference will now be recorded.
Uh, hey guys, I'm back. Sandeep, I didn't have any problem. I said we have a break for 10 minutes. Did you miss that, Sandeep? Sandeep, are you there?
Yes, Nikhila, I'm available.
Okay, okay. No, we were in break. There was no issue. I just told you we were in break till 8:15. Okay, that's the reason. Other than that, okay. Anybody has any questions on operators, access groups, and roles? And did you understand the importance of role versus access group? Any questions before we move further?
Actually, my system was, I don't know what is the issue. It's disconnecting multiple times. So that's what I think. If
Any
I
network
connected or I,
issue?
no,
Network
there
issue?
is
Did you
any no
check?
network issue here. No power issue, no network issue. But I don't know why disconnecting go to app today. Previous two sessions was it was good, but today only it's happening like that. So that's what I think. Maybe I missed the class or it is in break time. I don't know. So that's what I bring the message.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's okay. You will receive the recording, Nagraju. For today, you can listen to the recording. And any questions, ask me in the group. I'll be there to
Okay.
assist you
Okay.
guys. Anybody, after the session is completed, if you have any questions, ask me in the group, not in person. The reason is if you ask in the group, when I answer it, many people who may not have that question, they may get more inputs from your question. So I prefer to, answer in the groups more. If you are comfortable, ask in the group. Otherwise, personal chat is also okay. Okay. Any questions
Nikhila,
before we
did you
rush you?
create the group?
Yes, were you
WhatsApp
not in
group?
it? Yes,
No.
Nagaveni. Oh, is it? Okay. Okay, I'll add you after the session.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let me share my screen. Let's continue. So next topic is access of role to objects. So here we do much in depth. One second. We do much in-depth security configurations, like we were talking about it, right? Like, I don't want certain set of users to create, update, and delete operators, or I don't want certain set of people to create, update, and delete access groups. How do I restrict that? So all such things, you do now using access of role to object. I'm just trying to share my screen. Okay, so we do all that using access of role to object. Let me tell you what is this role to object. See, if you saw when you open roles, all these are new ones. One second. They don't exist. Oh, this is also new. Then what is inside this? Nothing is inside this. One second. Let me. Mm. Guys, you are not on mute. Some ladies. Okay. Now we are going to talk about access of role to object. So let me open any role first. This is a role. Okay. Below that, we will have this plus icon. If you click on this plus icon, you can create role to objects. Okay. So let's say, for example, let me take a new access group. Okay. I have roles here. Are these existing? Yeah, that is existing. I have roles here. And if I click on a plus icon, I can create role to object. Now, where do you find role to objects? Same records explorer, security. I will find access groups here. I will find roles here. I will find role to object here. Okay, all access groups roles role to object are found under records explorer security. How can you create a role or role to object? Simple, come here and click on the create button, give the name whatever you want, and that's it. Role to object all the same way, click on the create button, give whatever is the name, and that's it, click on create. Or you can also do from here, create security role, you can create role to object, you can create access group, you can create. So here or here, same navigation, security, under that you will find it. Okay. And as I told you, roles and role to objects, we generally have a naming convention like application name colon role, like this EC colon user. Okay. Now while creating role to object, you should remember one thing. I can give whatever name I wish. Okay, let's say for example, EC colon users. See, it is asking you role name. You are creating role to object, but it is asking you access role means this one, this one. So access role to object is an extension to role. When you create access role to object, role is mandatory. See, when you create access group, did it ask you operator ID? No. When it created access role, did it ask you access group? No. But when you create access role to object, role is mandatory. It's like it's an extension to the role. So already you should have a role existing. So I can create role to object for this, this, or anything from the list. Okay, but I can't create without giving existing role name. Some existing role name I should and must give while creating role to object. So role to object is an extension to role. Okay, so role is mandatory when you create role to object. Now let me take any access, this is EC application, right? I will take EC colon user. Okay, for which class you want to create. Why is it asking class name, and first of all, what is a class? See, we are building applications, right? When you build application, you will write some code. So where do you keep that code? We keep that code under a folder called as class. For those who are technical, you know what is a class, right? However, I'm going to talk about class and object in the later sessions. So I'm just giving this definition for non-technical people. For non-technical people, just understand that whenever you build application, you will write some code. Where do you keep that code? Code can't lie like an orphan. Okay, so code should have a parent, and who is that parent? Class is a parent. So under the class, you will write your code. Okay, your functions, your methods, reports, decisions, whatever, you will write it under a class. So now they are asking you which class access you want to control. Okay, now let's say for example, I want to control the access of creating operators. Okay, any person with this role to object should not be able to create operator IDs. Then what should I do? I should give operator ID related class here. Okay, now what is the operator ID related class? It is data admin. Yeah, you don't know it. Okay, this is the class of operator IDs, data admin operator ID. So this is where Pega has written all the code related to operator IDs. Okay, so I'm creating a role to object on operator ID class. Again, the name is role to object, right? Role means this one. Object means class. So this role is dealing with this class. Means based on this role, a person can create, update, delete instances of this class. Instances means records of that class. Okay. So any person with this role can only create, update, delete, whatever he can do with the operator IDs. I will decide now. Can he create? Can he update? Can he delete? I'm going to decide now. Okay. And I'm deciding that based on this role and this class only. So any person with this access role to object, what his behavior should be on operator IDs. I'm going to decide that. This is only on operator IDs, okay? This is not on access groups or portals or something else. Only on operator IDs you're doing. Now, Nikhila, how do I know the class? If I don't know the class, how can I figure it out? See, if you don't know the class, it's very simple. Suppose I want to control the access on operators, right? I opened operator ID. I don't know from which Pega class it is coming. Now, how can I control the access? If you want to know from which Pega class this is coming, just say view XML. Okay, some XML will come. Search for PZINS key. You will have the class name here. Okay, followed by the operator ID. Leave that. Till here it is class name. This is the class name. Okay, there is also a keyboard shortcut to get this class name. Does anyone remember? Anyone from Pega background? Do you remember the keyboard shortcut?
Shift F8. Shift F8.
F8? Oh, okay, it is F8.
F7,
Okay.
right?
Shift
Yeah.
F8.
So it is Shift F8 only. Perfect. Okay.
F7.
So if you click on Shift F8 also, you will get this directly like this. In case if you forgot the keyboard shortcut like me, you can click on View XML and you can search for PZ Dynasty. Okay. So like this, you can get the class names. So now I'm creating access of role to object. Please remember one thing. Role to object is a continuation to the role. So giving a role name is mandatory. And generally, we give the role to object name same as role name so that we be in sync. And this role is adding a restriction only to one class. If you want on multiple classes, you have to create multiple role to objects. First, anyways, let's do this. Okay. So I'm creating for operator ID class. Now I'm going, oh, I have already created. Then let me open that. I have already created. So let me open that. Okay. I'll just create with a, it will not allow me to do that. Let me open that. This is the one. Okay. So once you get inside, okay, once you click on the create button, you will get this screen. So here you have to decide, can a person with this role open operator IDs? Can he modify operator IDs? Can he delete operator IDs? Can he run the reports in the operator ID class? Can he run the code in the operator ID class? Can he open the rules? Can he modify the rules? Can he delete the rules? This is how we restrict access, guys. Okay. So this is how we restrict access for different classes. Suppose if you want to restrict for operator ID, you have to create an operator ID. Let's say I want to restrict on access group class. Then I have to create a new one like this. And I'll give the same thing here. Okay. Now what is the class here? Access group class. Okay. So if you don't know what is the class of access group, go open an access group, shift F8. You see the access group class, data admin operator ID access group. Copy, paste. The same role, EC user, but for a different class, right? This is for EC user for operator ID class. This is EC user for access group class. Now you tell a person with this role, can they open access groups? Can they modify access groups? Can they delete access groups? Can they run reports and code? Can they open the rules? Can they delete the rules? Can they modify the rules? So this is how you restrict. Okay. Now let's write down. Okay. Let's write down. No, can they see? Okay. Now how do I know, what to give here? Look at this. We can only give numbers here. You can't give anything other than numbers. Now, what does each number represent? If you write 0, no access. 0 means no access at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, environments. If you remember on day one session, I taught you, in real time, we will install Pega on various machines. One machine or one server is called as dev environment. Second one is called as QA. Third is called as UAT and fourth is called as production. Dev means people like you and me will do the coding. QA means testers will test your code, like how a car or a product, which is built. They don't test it right in all possible ways. Let's say you're buying an iPhone. Don't they test it? Fire test, water test, this test, that. They do all kind of testing. Right? Similarly, when we build a code, we will do all kind of testing. So QA is a place where they test. UAT is a place where they test, and finally production, where people like you and me are going to use the application. Okay. So now you decide in which environments you want to control access. Suppose if I say 5 means till production, they can open the operator IDs. If I say 4, till production, guys, it is till production, not just in production. Till production means 0 to 4 he can open. If I say 5, 0 to 5 he can open. Okay. If I say 3, 0 to 3 he can open, but not 4 and 5. So like this, you have to decide. Okay. Opening. Okay. I said till 4 he can open. Modify. Let's say 0. He can't modify anywhere. Delete. Let's say 0. He can't delete. Okay. If you leave empty means he has access. Okay. I'm leaving all this empty means he has access. So just save your changes. Okay. So I have created a role to object. What is the role? EC user. What is the object? On operator ID class, I have created it. So any person with this EC user access role can open operators till production. He cannot modify, he cannot delete. In any of the environments, he can't do. Okay. Or if you want to allow him to do till pre-prod, you can allow him to do. If you want him to do till here, you can allow him to do. Okay, it depends on your requirement. So just say for example, right now, I'm just giving it as zeros and zeros. Okay, so like this, you can restrict them from doing all these things. Now go back to your operator ID. Who is your operator? Nikhila at HDFC. So this operator has this access group. Inside the access group, do you have this role? Role should be present. It is not there. Add it. EC colon user. Okay. Now because you have this role, do you see automatically role to object is coming here? Okay. Automatically role to object will come here. You need not explicitly add it anywhere. Okay. If you add the role, automatically role to object will be visible. Need not explicitly add it. Okay. I just added role in the access group and role is calling role to object. No need to add role to object anywhere. It will automatically get picked. If you add that role to object will automatically come. Anybody has any questions so far?
Hi, Nikhila.
Yes, please.
There, in the role to object only, we are adding the role, right? So when you open that role, then what is the need of that plus button? Why we have that privilege?
You can add more role to objects. You can add it for access. Right now, see you. Where is that? Right now, you added for one
Hmm.
role. Where is my access group? You can add more like that, right? As many as you want, you can add. So right now, I did for operator ID class. Next, I want to do for access group class. Next, I want to do for some other class. So you have to define it for every
Okay, for
single class like this.
creating.
Ah,
Okay, for creating, we are okay. Here we are creating it.
for every single class you can no, here also you can create, from here also you can create, anywhere you can create.
Mhm.
Security,
Hmm.
access role to object, anywhere you
Hmm.
can create, just an option, either from there or from here you can create. For
Okay.
various classes you can create like this.
Okay, not for adding. Here we can create it
It's a create
directly.
option, just an easy navigation
Okay.
from here.
Okay. Fine.
Okay, so like this you are going to map, save and check. Actually I got some issue when I tried it. I need to look into it. uh, if I try to delete it, it should show me an error. It's not showing. Maybe I need to log off and re-log in, because now you have restricted his access, right? He can't create, delete, and do all those things. You have restricted the access, right? So it shouldn't ideally work. But I was facing some issue for login itself. So reading is okay. Deleting and creating a new operator ID is not allowed for a person with this user. So let me log off and re-log in. What is this operator ID? Nikhila at hdfc.com. Okay. Okay, ideally I should not be able to create new operators or delete existing operators. Let me try creating a new one. Oh, 2 is also existing. 3 then. What is the privilege we added? Why it is allowing me? Let me check once. What did we do here? He should be able to read. Write is 0 and delete is 0. But why is it still allowing me? Mm, this is the access group, right? User only.
Given may be different. EC users.
Mm, it is user, right? Just user.
I think
EC user.
users.
You have
No, you
restricted
can.
for users only, right, Nikhila? For the
It is
authors, you didn't restrict. You didn't
no, one
restrict.
second. See, 1 second. Please, this is access. Where is that? This is access group, right? Okay. Inside the access group, I have a role. Inside the role, you will have the restriction. Okay, so the restriction is there. Why is it not picking read, write, delete? Reading I gave, it's still picking. Why? Maybe sometimes it needs a server restart. But let me try, why is it picking?
Hi, Nikhil. I think you have to save it.
Sorry,
I think
can
you
you
have
say
to
it?
save it before.
Access group, I
I,
think. You need to give access
Array,
group.
everything is here. See, this is my current operator ID. If you open it inside that, I have my role. If you open that inside, it's all configured. Just I didn't check in. Okay, I didn't check in. Oh, I will talk about check in later, guys. 1 second. That's the reason it's not picking. Let's see once. Anything else in my checkout still? No checkouts. Let me try once. Nikhila at HDFC, right? But still, some junk I'm creating. Oh no. 1 second. No, it's not working. There's something wrong. Maybe it needs a system restart once. I mean, like application restart. Okay, ideally it should work. Okay, I'll do a restart and I'll update you in the group, guys. I'll share the screenshots in the group. Okay. So the configuration is simple. You just need to keep an operator ID and inside that access group, and inside that, just add a role, and that role should restrict access like this. See, reading is okay. Writing and deleting I have restricted. But somehow it's working. Maybe just needs a system restart once. After that, ideally it should work. Okay. So I'll share you screenshots once I restart and I do it. So this is the use of role to object. Okay. Role to object means in the access group, you pick some role. Okay. And object means you pick some class. So you want to restrict your access on some particular class and you
Is
restrict
that
it like
class
this.
name
And
is
you have,
correct, Nikhila?
of course, yes. See, it's opening, right?
Um,
You can see if I took it from the drop down, you can even click here. See, the class is opening. So it's correct.
okay.
Hi, Nikhila.
Hello.
Yeah. Uh, is this uh, is this the thing done by QA or a developer only?
A developer will do. QA will do only testing, right? They don't do all these configurations.
Yeah, and admin team also have the rights to give the access, right?
Right. Either admin team or dev team can do. Anybody can do. Depends on the project.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So this is how we use role to object, guys. Access groups will have roles. Roles will have extension as role to object. Any questions on role to object? I will
Nikhila,
do a
one last
restart
Nikhila,
question.
and I'll... Yes, please.
Nikhila, here we see read rows are empty. So, what is this mean? Like read
These
rules,
empty
write
things
rules are
we didn't give.
empty.
So if it is empty means you have full access, right? I have just shown you. If it is empty, it's full access. See, when
Okay,
you went
like
to role to
towards
object,
the
you saw right
production and
zero.
for all the things.
See, if it is empty till production, you have access. If it is zero, no access. You didn't give zeros, right? You left it empty, means full access.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now, extension to role to object, you have something called as privileges, guys. Now, let's talk about privileges. See, you're diving deep into the security level. One operator can get an access to an application only using access groups. Inside the access groups, again, you will restrict what screen he can see using portals. Now, what elements on the screen he can have is decided using roles. Now, which classes he can access is based on role to object. Now, within the class, which rules he can execute. So, somebody was asking me in the morning, can the developer run the code in production? They were asking me, right? So, if you want to restrict the code to certain users, okay, then you use this privileges. Okay, so till class, if you want to restrict, it is role to object. Inside the class, you will have hundreds of rules. Now, which rule a person can execute if you want to restrict, we use privileges. So, what is the privilege? Where do you find it? In access of role to object, there's a tab called as privileges. Okay, so you can give a privilege here. How do I create a privilege? Same, under security, create privilege. Give any name, you can give any name as you wish. Like, test dev. I'm just giving some name. Okay, there's nothing inside it. See, there's nothing inside. It's just a read only variable. Now, where will I use it? Go to your access of role to object, the place where you gave all the numbers, and give the privilege here. Where's my privilege? Why is it not visible? EC user data admin Oh, it should be in data admin operator ID class. Sorry, I created this in a wrong class. Let me move it. Operator hyphen ID. Okay. Okay. What? Oh, okay. Okay. I created a privilege. Now let me check in and check out. I'll come back to you guys. Now, where is my access? Okay, you can see my privilege is coming here. Again, same numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say I give 4. Okay. Now, what is the use of this privilege? See, within a class, okay, if you have any rules under it, if you want to restrict the access of that particular rule, we use privileges. How? Let's say, what is the class now here? Data admin operator ID. From App Explorer, I'm going to the class. What is the class? We will talk about it in the next session. As of now, just think that class is nothing but a container which holds all your code inside it. Okay, so this is my class. Leaf icon indicates it's a class. Under this, I have all my code. Okay, now take any rule. Okay, take any piece of code, whichever is there. I'm just taking some existing piece of code. Okay, they have written some code like this. Now, you see security tab is there, and here you see privilege is there. See, if I add my privilege here, what's my privilege? Test dev, right? If I add my privilege here, it means that only operators who has this privilege can run this code. Other people cannot run this code. So like this, we use privileges. Not only here, take any flow. There's no flow here. Okay, flow action. Okay, go to security tab. You have privileges. Give the privilege here. If just I'm giving some privilege. So if you give privilege like this, only people with this privilege can run this code. Others cannot run. So like this, if you want to restrict access to certain amount of code to certain users, we use privileges. Let's say, for example, there is a report which tells me the profit and loss of the company in this year. This report should be executed only by senior managers. Others will not be able to execute it. So you can give a privilege. Only people with that privilege can run it. Others will get an error. Sorry, you don't have privilege to execute this. So rule level control is privilege. Okay. Rule level control is privilege. Have a look at this document, guys. You will understand. Access group, application level control means which application I can access is decided in the access group. Roles, okay, used to grant or deny access on certain places of the application. Role to object, class level control, like data admin operator ID, data admin operator ID access group. So which class you want to control? Role to object. Privileges, rules inside the class you want to control. You want to control the execution of a flow, of a screen, of a report. You want to control, we use privileges. Rule level control. Okay. Any question on these things, guys?
Yes, Nikhila.
Please.
So, Karthik here. So,
Yes, go ahead.
yeah, there are several levels. Like these are all security, like how you access a particular application and role. All those things are there. So, whatever you have given here is like a hierarchy, right? So first, you need to have access to a application. Then, this,
Roles, role to objects, and privileges.
okay,
They are all one
okay. So that
inside
is
the
the.
other, right? So first I will have an operator ID. Operator ID will have access group, right?
Mm,
In the access group, I will have role. If I open the role, inside that I will have role to object. Inside role to object, if you see, there is privilege.
mm,
So like this,
okay. So.
everything comes from your operator ID.
Okay. Okay, so there is no chance of conflict. Here, you give access. Suppose if a class is being used by different, uh,
Yeah, there is a chance of conflict. See, let's say, for
mhm,
example, in the same access group, okay, I have two roles. Okay, one role is granting you access, one role is denying you the access. So there is a chance of conflict. So,
mhm,
let me open. So there is an access group like this. Okay, you have different roles, right? So maybe Nikhila, has granted you access to something today. After few
mhm,
months, Karthik joined, and in this role, he has denied access to something. Okay,
mhm,
let's say in this I have granted access to creating operators. You came after 6 months, and in this you have denied access to creating operators. So from this I'm getting access, from this I'm denying access. So which one to pick? So this is a problem. Okay, so in this case, one thing is like developers should be careful when you're dealing with such kind of things. And the second thing is Pega has a rule called as access deny. Okay, now what is this access deny? So access deny comes into the picture like the question you asked. Okay, see, knowingly or
mhm,
unknowingly, because we are a big team, or maybe I left the company, you joined today, or maybe I was still in the company, but I made this change 1 year back, and today you came and you made this change. I did it in
mhm,
this role, you did it in this role. So there's a conflict. Somebody is granting access and somebody is denying access. So in that case, what we do is we can create something called as access deny. Access deny means it is used to deny access. Okay. Suppose I granted access, you denied access. Now there's a conflict. But end of the day, we want access to be denied. So like this,
mhm,
in one project, you will have lot of access groups. Every access group will have lot of roles. So it is difficult for us to identify in which role they are granting, in which role they are denying. It's difficult for us to do all that thing. So what we can do
mhm,
in an easy way is go create an access deny. Okay, so if you open access deny, it is also exactly like your role to object. Okay,
mhm,
but what is the use of this one? See, if you have five roles granting you access, but you have just one single access denied, denying you access, deny takes precedence. Okay,
mhm,
so this is very much useful for us in real time when you have this conflict issues. because it's difficult for me to open every single role to object and see where you are granting access in all the access groups. So instead, what I will do is I will simply go and build a access deny. It's quite easy. Like how you built access role, the same way you can build it. Just go and say which one, like EC colon user. Okay. Which role? EC colon user. Now, which class? Data admin operator AD class, access group class, whatever class it is. Click on create. Give the numbers. That's it. So if you have one deny but 10 access roles to objects which are granting access, deny will take precedence. It will deny the
Mm.
access. So that you can use in case if you have any conflict issues, we can use this.
So it is a best practice to have all these categorized under deny instead of having it under roles, like denying under roles,
If
right?
you want to deny, you
So
can use
enable.
deny. It's better to use deny
Okay.
because even down the lane. See, let's say for example, in access role to object, you have denied access today. Down the lane, somebody might come and grant access, right? So better to have access deny. It's if you want to deny
Mm.
permanently. Tomorrow, if they don't want deny, they will delete access deny. What is there?
Okay. So access deny is basically a role level control.
Same like role to object, right? Roles extension is role to object. Similarly, access deny. See, access deny also has same things. What's your role name? What's your class?
Mm.
Role to object
Okay.
also has the same things. So role to object's extension is these two. Sorry, role extension is access deny and role to object.
Mm. Just curious if these kind of conflicts will it be flagged out, some scanner or some compilation error or something like that?
There is
If
nothing
there's
like
any.
that. No, there's nothing
Oh,
like that. You have to debug.
oh, okay. That's all.
Okay.
Thanks for the answer.
Okay, no problem. You can also see there's a checkbox here. Stop access checking once a relevant access of role to object instance explicitly denies or grant access. Do you see this? So if you enable this, let's say you have four roles here, right? So if the first one is granting you access or if the first one is denying you access, you don't want to check the second, third, and fourth, then you can enable this checkbox. Generally, we don't use this much in real time, but good to know from interview point of view. Okay, there's a checkbox. If you enable this, if the first one is granting or denying access, second, third, fourth, fifth, we won't check. Okay, just good to know this is existing. Okay, if you keep checking, then it is a confusion, right? First one granted, second one denied, third one granted, fourth one denied. It's a confusion. So better you can enable this checkbox if you don't want such things to happen. Okay, so that could also be a case in our scenario. Although I'm denying access here, I'm still able to create operator IDs, right? Maybe that's because others are granting me access. Let me do one thing. Let's try this way. Okay, if the first one is accepting or denying access, don't check the second, the third, and nth ones. Let's try this way. Which application it is? HDFC, right? Let's try. See, you're not authorized. Yeah, that was the issue here. Good, we figured it out. Okay, so let me try creating a new one. See, I'm trying to create a new one. See, okay. So what was the issue? Yeah, that was a good question. We'll ended up figuring out the answer. Okay, the issue was some of my access roles are granting access to me to create, update, and delete operators, and one of them is denying access. Now, which one to pick? Pega is confused. So, what I told Pega, if the first one is granting or denying access, please consider that. Don't consider the rest of them. So now Pega has taken the first one and it is denying access to me. Now instead, if you keep this one as the first one, I will be in a position to create operators and do all such things. because it considers the first match. Did you understand? Anybody has any questions? Anyone from non-technical background feeling anything difficult? Please feel free to ask me.
Yes, ma'am. Here, role and role object means you said role object is exterior version of the role. Sorry, I didn't
Hmm.
understand the two, madam. Role and role to object.
This is role. You saw, right? This is role,
Yes, this is the role.
right? So let me show you. Okay, this is role. So if you see this, this is role. Okay.
Yeah,
Where is role to object? See, inside role, you are finding role to object. Did I plug in this? I didn't plug in. Pega will automatically pick. So with exactly same name, if you have any role to objects, Pega will automatically pick and display like this.
that means we in within one role we can create multiple role
And
objects.
n number of role to objects. Why? What is the meaning of role to object? Person with this role, what is his control on that particular class? Object means class. So what is his
Uh,
role on this class, on this class, on
I
this
think
class?
you
So you can add
that means you
hundreds of
explain one
classes here,
example, right?
right?
Like based upon employee ID, someone will get some discounts, right? That one, that example for this one only,
No,
right?
no, no,
For
no,
role to
no, no,
object.
no, 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 yeah, no, no. See,
No, no.
role to object is controlling your access at different environment levels on different classes. Like just now we did, right? I'm controlling your
Hmm.
access on operator ID class. So you cannot delete operators, you cannot create operators. But what you can do, you can read the operators, means you can look at the operators. So I can see
Yes,
how
yes.
many operators IDs are there. But that is only an operator
Okay.
ID class. Did I add any restriction on access group? No. So if you want
No.
now go and add a restriction on access group also. Let's say for example, you can't delete access groups. Okay. But you can create, you can look at access groups. Let's say submit,
Oh,
check out, save. Okay. Now log out and re-log in. So role to object is controlling at a class level and environment level. So now let me try to, do anything with the access groups. I can read them, I can write them, but I can't delete them. That's what my restriction is. So let me try to delete this. Oh, how come? One second. Where's my role to object? What did I do in that? Where are you? Where are you? Oh, okay. One second. One second. Oh, it is EC colon user only. What is wrong? Deleting. I said, oh, you can delete. Sorry, I granted him access to delete. You can delete till
okay.
5. I said, oh no, I should say he can't delete, right? So
Zero.
0. 0 means
Zero.
do not grant access. Yes. So
Okay.
sorry, that was the.
That means empty space means we can get all permissions.
Ah,
If we will
empty
give
means
0 to
all permission.
means we can
0 means
restrict
no
your
access
permission
at all.
depending upon okay, access.
Yes, 0 means completely no access, zero access.
Okay.
So role to object is controlling your access at class level, environment level. Where's my
Okay.
access group? This one. Okay. Now
So
try to
role also
delete it.
same, right?
See, no permissions. No, role
Okay.
is not same, right? Role's extension is role to object. Role, I have
Okay.
told you, just to like a switch we use it. Like this bar should be not be visible. This drop down should not be visible. Just like that you can
Okay.
use it. This report should not be
Okay.
visible. Role to object is like class level, environment level also. Like see
Okay.
role, if you say this should not be visible, it will not be visible in dev, QA, UAT production. Role to object is
Okay.
not like that, right? You should not be able to create only till 2 means only till development, only till 3
Okay.
means only till QA. So environment level plus class level together I'm doing it. So role to object is more
Okay.
powerful.
Okay. Okay.
Anybody has any? Yeah, I see some questions in the chat. Let me check. In the role to object, the right rule has no value, and that's why I think we are able to create operator IDs. No, Satish, as we saw, just up and down. I have done and I have enabled that checkbox because some of them were granting access, some are not granting access. That was the issue.
Yeah, Nikhila. And one more thing.
Hmm.
For example, the operator ID is a rule. At the same time, it's an instance for that particular class. So
Satish,
here in the
I'll come
access
back to
control,
rules and instances later because others don't know, right? That's the reason.
okay.
So once I
Okay.
teach you class and object, I'll tell you the difference. Anish, I see read instances and read rules you're asking in the session, right? See, rules means
Yeah.
code. Okay. Instances means
Okay.
records in the DB. Much in detail we will talk when we come to class and objects topic in the next session. Okay.
Oh,
So for now,
that,
just understand
that,
rule means code. Instances means DB data. Like operator ID, it's a DB data, right? It's not a rule. It's a record in the DB, username, password, and all that. Okay.
okay.
And
Nikhila,
somebody
if
is
we have
But
multiple deny rules, at that time what it will happen? Now we
multiple
use one
denies
role
happen.
to object easy user, right? In that only
Uh,
deny option we given.
deny
If
takes
suppose we have
precedence. See,
another
oh,
role
1 second.
that
See,
okay,
see, another role, same class, it doesn't matter. At end of the day, you're denying. So how does it matters? So you have a role X, which is denying access to operator ID. You have a role Y, which is also denying access to operator ID. Fine, no issues.
so
Both of
that
them are
means
denying.
no,
So
no,
what
no,
is the
not like
problem?
that. That means sequence is the important, right? While we are giving the roles.
If you don't enable that checkbox, deny takes precedence. Okay, whether you enable or disable, deny takes precedence. In my scenario, I didn't create deny. Okay, I only use role to
Okay,
object, but you have multiple
okay,
role to objects and you did not use this checkbox. Okay,
okay, okay,
then in that case, deny is very much useful.
okay. If we create deny means that time no need to use the
No
enable to
need to check
checkbox.
anything. So first Pega checks,
Okay,
do I have deny? If you don't have deny, then Pega will consider your role to objects. If you have
okay,
deny, we don't even consider any of the role to objects. Even if they're granting access, it doesn't, no, it's not considerable.
okay. That means the both if once we can create deny and role to object, both are important. If deny is created, that time no need to
Uh,
enable that
check
option.
a role to object. I mean, like
If we
even if role
didn't
to object is there,
create
Pega will not consider it because deny takes precedence, but deny is more important.
okay, if we didn't create deny, that time it will which role
The
we need to.
checkbox and the
That
order
time we need to
matters.
give first place
Exactly.
and we need to check that
Ah,
option.
right,
We need to enable that
right,
option.
right.
Okay.
See, when does deny come into the picture? We have checkbox, right? When does deny come into the picture? The reason is, see, to me, this should be first because in this I'm denying access to operator ID and something. Then another developer came, he has created this for him this should be first. He also want to use this checkbox, for him this should be first. Okay. Now how will
Yeah.
Pega check? First means not just the first one, right? For that
Yes.
particular
Yes.
class, which one is first, Pega will check and it will consider. So even in this case, there may be conflicts. Okay. In this I have same classes and there may be a conflict. So in that case, better to go with access deny. So if you end up with such kind of conflicts, we go with denies. Otherwise, this is okay. This is enough.
Okay. That's what I because if
Yeah.
we have two roles, in the two roles some deny options will be there means it will be difficult to take, right? That's what.
Right. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So that time
That's
better to
for
create
some of you deny,
D-
right? For some of you,
yeah.
it might be very confusing. Please watch the recording. If you still have questions, ask me in the group or ask me in the next session. Okay. Let me
Okay.
answer questions in the chat. What is the difference between role and role to object? Abhinash, is it clear now or still do you have any question on role and role to object? Abhinash Chowdhury, are you there? I'm not finding you. Abhinash, are you in the session? Okay, maybe he dropped. So I hope you all know the difference between role and role to object, right? If anyone has any questions, let me know. If we leave the access control is empty, giving access by default, it's like granting access by default. Okay. If it is empty, full access. If it is zero, zero, no access at all. It's all written there, right? You can see it. It's all written in the role to object. If you open role to object, it's clearly written. What does it mean by zero, empty, and all? Okay. So that's it for today, guys. Initial classes we do only 2 hours because it's a lot of theory, right? I don't want to overload. Later on, when we start the practicals, we'll go till 3 hours. Anybody has any questions before we wrap today's session?
Hi, Nikhila.
Hello.
Yeah, what are the interview questions we can expect in this?
See, complete security thing is important. They will just ask you, what is the security in Pega. So you need to start with operator, then access group, then roles, then privileges, then role to object. Then they may ask, what is the difference between privilege and roles. So right, privilege means we control it rule level. Role and role to object, we control it class level or the options on the screen we control. So these differences, and they may end up with access deny. So they may give you a scenario where you have to say access deny can be used in this case. Okay. So these
Hi,
are the
Nikhila.
questions, guys. Okay.
Okay.
See, on few topics you may not find questions. On few topics you may find questions. Okay. So
Nikhila,
on
Yeah,
this one,
we need to say entire one, right?
see if they
From
ask you
according to
about
access group.
security in Pega, if they ask you about security in Pega, whole thing you have to say. Operators, access groups, roles, privileges, role to objects, and if you find time, talk about deny also.
Yeah, with example, right?
Yeah, it's better always give an example. Simple examples.
Okay.
Okay, let's say I want to
Yeah, yeah,
restrict
yeah.
something on the screen, role. I want to prevent him from creating operators and access groups, role to object. I want to prevent him from running a report, privilege. That's it. One line example over. Yes, Patni,
Yeah, yeah,
please
got
go
it.
ahead.
will,
Thank you.
will give notes. Will give notes on
Yes,
this
guys, see,
because a
guys,
little
yes,
bit
yes, yes.
confusing.
Because most of you already have access to the previous batch recordings, in that the notes are there. So I didn't share it with you. Today I will do it, guys. Okay, I'll upload everything in one place and I will share you the access. You can access from there now for the current batch.
Okay, thank you.
Nikhila,
Okay, guys. Yeah, Nagraj.
sorry, yeah, Karthik here. Uh,
Yes, Karthik.
yeah, so I saw some of the, I mean, I'm accessing the July 2023 batch one.
Hmm, hmm.
I saw that day 6 one YouTube video is set as private. Similarly, some other ones
Oh,
also. I saw.
so from day 6 onwards, only for enrolled candidates, I have given access. So I know some of you didn't get access, although you enrolled. I will add all your email IDs today. Okay. So yeah, after
Okay,
adding, you should be able to access them. I'll confirm you in the group once I add it. So even after adding, if you're not able to access it, just try to do it in incognito mode. Control Shift N. Log in into Gmail and YouTube with the email ID you provided me, and then try. If you're still not able to access, then it is a problem from my side. Let me know.
okay.
And tomorrow class is there,
Okay.
no?
Yes, tomorrow we have session at the same time, 7 a.m. IST till 9 o'clock we'll be doing. And starting from next Friday, we are going to start the practicals. So I want everybody to install Pega and be ready. Okay. And for those of you who
Nikhila,
did not answer questions today, guys, in the beginning of the training itself, if you are not able to answer, trust me, towards the end of the training, your situation will be more worse, or you may even drop off from the training in between. So please make sure you watch day 1, day 2, day 3 recording today and be prepared for questions tomorrow. Yes, Ishik, you have some question?
yeah, do we have WhatsApp group for this current batch?
Yes, are you not a part of it?
No, you
Okay,
didn't add
I'm
me.
not. Okay, can you please ping me on WhatsApp once? I will add you. Raghaveni, I remember I have to add you as well. I will
Yeah,
add you.
Yeah,
okay.
sure. Thank you.
Okay, okay guys, then any other questions, please feel free to ask me in the group. We'll connect there.
Okay.
Yes, Karthik.
It depends on
Karthik, go ahead.
it depends.
Yeah, so I just wanted to know, like, I'm trying to install. I created a virtual machine for Windows 11 in my
Okay,
Mac, and then I'm
okay.
trying to install Pega, and I was getting some database connection issues. So,
Okay, so I
because
have
I can,
do, Karthik, do you have access to my July batch folder?
yeah, I do have.
So in that, under the Pega software installation, I have written, if any database errors, what to do. There is a document. Please follow that.
Okay, okay, yeah. Then if I
Okay.
have further more questions, then I'll WhatsApp you.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks.
guys. Thank you so much. See you again tomorrow. Bye bye.